Okay, so today I'm going to be talking with you guys about chapter 6, which is about summarizing. It's really short, so we're just going to jump right in and explore what Judith Hockman and Natalie Wexler have to say about summarizing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the work. All right, you're familiar with this page. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but these are our authors and lots of the texts that we could explore. Now, one text that we're going to be utilizing during this time is The Multisensory Teaching of Basic Language Skills by Judith Birch. And I pulled a segment out here, so you'd probably want to pause the video to read this portion here. Multiple strategies, just this section here and here. We talked about TSI, which is the transactional strategy instruction, where the research is pointing us to an understanding that we want to teach multiple comprehension strategies. Inside of this text, just like the Cartwright text that we read or explored last time, this one leans on the same similar work. You can see that it has the National Reading Panel inside of this one as well. But a lot of the same things here. This is going to have a focus on reciprocal teaching, and we'll talk a little bit about what that is here in a second. So there are only 3 strategies that we'll be looking at, or 3 standards, excuse me. We have make sure you have taught the prerequisites. So that's a key thing. You'll want to know what those are. You're not actually teaching anything on this standard, but you want to make sure you have these in place. We'll talk about those specifically in a second. And there's really only 2 different ways to do this. We want to teach them to complete a sentence summary, and that's just a basic one, and then a sentence summary with a concluding sentence on that as well. So let's jump right in. First of all, summarizing, the basic premise that we're working off of for this video is it's a brief statement. Can sometimes be called a synopsis. It's basically a brief statement that presents the main points of the text in a concise form, whether oral or written. So we're trying to limit it to our first round as a summary sentence. And then we have a summary sentence with a concluding sentence, which basically is just adding a few more details to that. So it's basically 2 sentences. We're just trying to combine all the necessary information into that, which is a great skill for kids to get because you're trying to teach them to condense all this information and leaving it with only the important information, which is actually comprehension strategy as well, which we talked about previous. So the first standard, which is make sure you've taught the prerequisites. All right, so what are the prerequisites? First of all, we want to make sure kids can expand sentences. If they can't expand sentences, we want to work with them on that first and foremost. They have to be able to answer those who, what, when, where, why, how questions in order to do this type of summarizing. Not just this type of summarizing, but all summarizing. So that's why, we have the questioning words that are happening so early on in our comprehension strategies, in K and 1 and those kinds of things, and that they're asking them to produce that orally because that is a critical piece of then getting to the higher level skill of actually summarizing that work. The next thing is, do they know an SPO? Can they complete a single paragraph outline? If not, that has to be something you work on. Whenever you ask somebody to summarize, if you're teaching summarization, you want to make sure that you've eliminated some of the issues that can go along with that, which is understanding the topic. So if you're teaching summarizing, don't make them read a new topic and try summarizing, a paragraph or a text. You want to do one of those things. So if you're starting a new topic, make it about the new topic, but don't ask them to summarize as well because that's, doubling the challenge for them. So make sure that if you're doing summarizing, make sure it's on the topic they already know, or you are eliminating that issue by providing the information on the topic to them. Teach them the academic way to summarizing. So we know that we can select different audiences to work from. That adds confusion. So early on, I definitely would just focus on, having the student put themselves and answering a summary in an academic setting, which means towards a teacher, towards something that involves academics. Don't give them, different audiences to work from. It can be a little bit more scrambling for that. All right. All right. So let's jump into summarizing standard 2, which is completing a summary sentence on a studied topic. So again, you want it to be a topic they already have. I completed this one according to the short text right here, which talks a lot about reciprocal teaching and focusing on multiple comprehension strategies at once. So the who would be that summarizing reciprocal teaching, what, how it can be used for instruction, when, during reading lessons, offers a proven way to teach comprehension, which is why, and how. So basically just teaching kids to go and answer these just like the standard SPO. And then we're going to have them right here. You can see I used a positive by saying reciprocal teaching, a way to teach comprehension. The key thing here is you want them to get used to putting all of this in one sentence, which can be challenging because they're going to try to use all of these pieces. Well, you've also got to know that, if you try to use all of these all at once, you might actually create a run-on sentence, which would be not purposeful for this. So you want to help teach them to do that in a mindful way. So in this one, it says reciprocal teaching, a way to teach comprehension, can be used during comprehension strategy instruction as a way to effectively teach comprehension after you have taught individual strategies. So you can see they're going to answer these questions and then they're going to write their sentence here. Again, always wanting to model all of this first before you release them to independence. This is standard 3, the last one. It says complete a summary sentence and add a concluding sentence as well. So on this one, all of this is what we've already done. I just showed you. So basically it's saying, we'd be adding the previous statement. And now what we're going to be showing kids how to do is we're going to show them how to take additional supporting detail notes, just some other notes that go along with that reciprocal teaching topic. For example, it talked about how there's a website created in Florida that gives teacher-specific guidance on that and even some resources. So that could have been a note that I put in here. There may be some other things as well. So in this case, you're going to be showing them how to do that concluding sentence. So ultimately, they'd be left with 1-2 sentences for their summary sentence. So in this one, you can see my CS would be as a result of this information. So this would be a great opportunity to teach them a concluding transition. They could use another positive if you wanted to. A little bit more challenging for that one. I do like the transition and I do like the subordinating conjunction. They just seem to work a little bit better in this capacity. But there's lots of different ways you can actually create a seamless jump into this. But the best one obviously is using, concluding transitions, those kinds of things. As a result of this information, it is important to explore even more and visit the Florida website that has more details. And remember that teaching students to use multiple strategies is key. So you can see that, teaching them the strategies to use multiple strategies is key. All right, that's all we have for summarizing, and hope you have a great day.